We are learning about slope from a table, and slope from 2 points. So let's look at finding slope from a table. We are going to identify the change in the y values first. As you move down the table. So you always start with the y values. You could start with the left, but I like to start with the y values so that I remember y goes on top and x goes on bottom. As you move down the table, so if you're looking at your y values, think about your y-axis is straight up and down. So that would be your rise. And then identify the change in the x values as you move down the table. And so x values are along the x-axis, and that is your run because you're going left and right. You're running left and right. Rise, you're going up and down on the y-axis. And then write the slope as rise over run and simplify as needed. So here's our example. I'm going to zoom in so we can see it a little better. And we have these over here that we can use. So we do the y values first. So if we go from 60 to 65, say plus 5. And it should be the same as long as the x values are the same plus 5. So I'm going to copy and paste this. I can put it in all the little spots. So going from 60 to 65 is plus 5, 65 to 70 is plus 5, 70 to 75 is plus 5, and 75 to 80 is plus 5. So your rise would be 5. Let's look at the run now. That is your x. So going from 5 to 25 is plus 20. Going from 25 to 45, plus 20. Going from 45 to 65, plus 20. Going from 65 to 85 is plus 20. So this slope has the exact same rise over run for each set of x and y values. We find our slope by doing rise over run. So our rise is 5 and our run is 20. Let me find my 5 over 20. Which, if we reduce that, that reduces to 1 over 4. Okay, how are y'all on that? Do y'all remember doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. All right, let's go over to the next examples. Let's see. Drag and drop the correct numbers to each location. This is identical to how the notes are set up. So look there if you need to. Each problem will have its own set of drag and drop. So let's look at we look at the y value. So from -5 to -3 to -1 to 1 to 3. Plus 2. And then let's check the other. -3 to -1 plus 2. From -1 to +1 plus 2. And from 1 to 3. So they're each plus 2. And then our x values from -9 to -6. It's -3 to 0 to 3. Would be +3. So then for example 1, the slope would be 2/3. I am going to put m equals though. Okay, so I'm going to pause it. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish this. Okay, so let's check your work, see how you did. So on number 2, we get +4 each y increase over -1, which let's go ahead and reduce this because it says simplify when needed. So let's put another equals there. Oh, okay, hang on. There we go. Sorry. We'll put another equals there and do 4 divided by -1, which gets us a -4. So our slope is -4. Okay, the next one. If we go from x to y, just on the arrows, it's a -3 and a -1. But then if you do the next one, 9 to 3 is a -6. So I made another little text box and put -6 there. And then from 5 to 3 is a -2. Then from 3 to -3 is -6. From 3 to 1 is a -2. And then from -3 to -6 is -3. And 1 to 0 is -3. So if we just take one of these, we get -3 over -1. But if we do the other one, let's see. The other one comes out as -6. Oh, I'm going to underline. I think that's the way that we can do it. -6 over -2. And I'll underline the -6. How do I underline? There we go. Or I'll move this. There we go. And if we have -3 over -1, you should be on this slide right now. -3 over -1 or -6 over 3, what does that reduce to? If we simplify it, it would be +3 over 1 or just +3. So make sure to write that out there, equals 3. But these two are equivalent. -3 over -1 is the same as -6 over -2. So it just comes out to +3. Okay, the next one, -2 to -3 is -1, -3 to -4, -1. So your rise is -1 all along the y-axis. The rise is -1. And then the run is a +5. So it comes out as -1 over 5, which we can write it with negative with the 1 or just negative out front. But this is already simplified. Okay, so that is it for that slide. Let's go to slide 12. Finding the slope from 2 points using the formula. So it gives you the steps. Label the numbers in your ordered pair as x1, y1, and x2, y2. So the y represents your first point that you want to use, and the 1 represents the first point you want to use, and then the 2 represents the second point. So here's an example. 8, -1, 0, and 3. So we need to label those. And we have these over here. So x1, y1. And then x2, y2. After you label them, step 2, substitute the values into the equation and simplify. The equation is this formula up here. So that needs to go up here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So whenever you do your slope formula, go ahead and write down your formula before you begin. So we're going to copy that over there. So y2 would be 3 minus a -1 over 0 minus 8. So 3 minus a -1 over 0 minus 8. And we need to simplify, so we need to actually do 3 minus a -1. 3 minus a -1 would be 3 plus 1. Minus a negative becomes 3 plus 1. 0 minus 8 is staying the same. What is 3 plus 1? 4. 0 minus 8, -8. So we have 4 over -8. If we reduce that, 1 over -2. Or it could just be written, let's do another one, -1 over 2. You could put the negative on top, bottom, or out front. So it could be written as that, or as the 1 over -2. But with slope, we really want the negative to be on top or out front, not on the bottom. Bless you. Okay, finding slope from 2 points on a table. Identify which of the coordinates are the x and the y's. Draw an input-output table, also called a t-table. And then put the coordinates in the table in pairs and find the slope from the table. So if you want to use a table instead of from those 2 points and using the formula, you can just use the table. So we are going to put the numbers inside this table. Let's see, negative. Let's see. So we need to, so this would be your x values, which your first one is 8. I'm going to make these bigger. And then our next x value is a 0. And then we have y values, which are -1, and 3. So just a reminder that tables can be horizontal. 2, just remember to follow the same steps. Find the y, the change of the y, find the change of the x, and then do change of y over change in x. So change in y is from -1 to +3. That'd be a +4. Right? From -1 to +3 would be +4. If you want to subtract that, you can. You do 3 minus a -1, which equals +4. And then 8 to 0 minus 8. And then we write our slope as m equals change in y over change in x. So the little triangle means change. Change of y, change of x. So we're going to do +4 over -8. Which reduces to 1 over -2. Which then reduces to -1 over 2. So we still get the same answer whether going through the formula or using the table. I underlined the -1, so I selected -1 and then clicked the underline. Okay, slope given 2 points. We are on slide 13. Fill in the tables using the text box, then drag and drop the correct slope in its simplified form. This is identical to the notes page, if you remember what to do. And then slope from 2 points is the other page. Drag and drop the correct numbers for each problem. If you would rather do this on paper, you can. And then you can just insert in the picture. How about we do that? All right, so this is your assignment, just to complete these 2 pages. Go ahead and work on that. And you can, like I said, do it on paper and then just insert it in. You can use the formula or the table.